Okay guys, in one of my previous videos I promised to shorten the entire Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3 when Part 2 is out. Now, LEGO officially released Season 3 Part 2, and so today I shortened the entire Season 3. If you haven't watched it, I recommend watching it first and then this video, cause you might get lost at some point, and we don't want that. Okay, that's all from me, enjoy the video. Season 3 begins with a story from the distant past in the first realm where a war broke out between two races. One was the dragons and the other was unspecified. Thunderfang, a dragon who possessed storm powers and could absorb the souls of living beings, believed that due to his numerous victories in battle, he deserved the status of a source dragon. When he was rejected, he unleashed chaos upon the City of Temples but got defeated by an Archdragon of Focus who imprisoned him in the depths of the first realm. The story ends, and Rox uses her power of fear for the first time to claim that those who have been chained may one day be unchained. Somewhere, Nia, Kai and Wildfire search for Jay, who has shattered his goodness when lightning lights up the sky. They rush in, believing it was Jay, and discover some lightning tides performing some kind of a ceremony. They get imprisoned for interrupting it, but they get out and run away while one of the tides puts up a wanted poster of the three of them. Meanwhile, at the monastery, Lloyd worries about Arin and Jay. Cole tries to comfort Lloyd and adds that he's going to the land of the lost things to search for them with the finders. Then he leaves and doesn't return for the first part of Season 3. Lloyd goes outside where he sees Frag breaking part of the course. When asked about this, he explains that he draws energy from rage and hate like Raz had taught him. Lloyd explains that strength can be drawn from many sources and adds that violence doesn't always work well in fight. After that, Sora asks Frag to help her make pies, leading to a weird situation when Zane comes in. Just see it for yourself.
Nor if I had any additional luck trying to find the smartest and most attractive member of our team.
But Sora's right here.
As you can see, Frag is being a little freaky in this season. Freaky Frag. Okay, sorry for that. Zane learns the general location where Arin was sent through the broken portal and they set off. They arrive and get attacked by Dorama's puppet. Frag pulls out a blade out of its head, which causes the puppet to shut down, and Lloyd decides to keep the blade because it's too dangerous to leave it there. They find Arin's tracks along with his grappling hook and begin to follow them. Meanwhile, Zark blasts a track in some forest, Kur decays two people in it, and Drix sends a swarm of insects after them to let the world know that the Forbidden Five is back. After that, Rox reveals her plan to go to the first realm and unchain Thunderfang. Somewhere, Arin takes care of injured Raz, who can't even walk. Despite this, he teaches Arin his techniques, to turn his hate and anger into power. Arin listens, thinks about Master Wu causing the merge, and performs a full version of Spinjitzu Tornado, believing that Raz's teachings are working, unlike Lloyd's ones. Elsewhere, Ninja approach a cave and decide to split up, with Zane flying around the mountain with Zant, while the others explore inside. Frag tries to impress the ninja with his knowledge, but Sora just gets annoyed by his comments. Later, when she gets stuck between rocks, Frag powers up his freaky mode and she gets out. Then he uses his quake power to move some rocks when the cave ceiling begins to collapse. They manage to get out of the cave, but the rock ledge they are standing on falls, sending the team into the river. Lloyd wakes up in the Dragonians village and gets to know that they were found in the river by some of the Dragonian people. In the village, they find out that they are in the first realm, the realm of Oni and the dragons. Ninja asks two old ladies about Arin and they give our group information where he went. When Sora asks if he was alone, the ladies begin talking some shit about Arin's relationship status, and just notice how freaky Frag reacts to that. Ninja head in the direction indicated by the two old ladies and are attacked by a Cyclops called Power Lead. When Lloyd uses a special Spinjitzu version, he shocks Sora and himself. They assume it's because of their presence in the first land. After defeating Power Lead, Ninja spot a mysterious figure dressed in blue who appears out of nowhere, grabs the Oni chalice from a pile of treasure that belongs to Power Lead, and flies away. Meanwhile, Arin pulls badly injured Raz on a sled when the former suggests stopping. Raz objects, telling Arin to go faster because of his deep wounds. He adds that their primary destination now is the Spectral Lands. Arin continues training under Raz, constantly improving his skills, but feeling empty inside. When Arin fails to transfer Spinjitzu into one of the rocks, Raz gets angry and tells Arin to stop thinking about the ninja. He calls them cowards, which leads to an argument if the ninja are heroes or not. Arin says the ninja saved the world, and that's when Raz bursts out and yells that the ninja didn't save his world. In fact, no one did. To manipulate him, Raz adds that the ninja also didn't save Arin's parents. Then he states he's dying and that his only hope is to find the Spectral Lands, a dark place for those no longer living. Meanwhile, Kai, Nia and Wildfire look for a way to find Jay. Kai comes up with an idea to beat Jay's high score in his favorite game and to wait for him to beat it. I don't understand how that works, but Kai beats the record and Jay plays the arcade remotely, beating Kai on his first attempt, so basically they still don't know anything about Jay's whereabouts. Arin and Raz arrive at the Spectral Lands, where Raz tells Arin he needs healing elixir from the Well of the Lost, located on top of the hill. He also gives Arin a returning blade from prismatic steel, stating he'll need it. Arin leaves Raz and enters the Spectral Lands. Suddenly, Moro appears, yes, the same Moro from Season 5, saving him from one of the soul suckers, invisible creatures who feed off the souls of the living and the departed. Moro helps Arin find the well and get back to Raz, whose soul would be eaten if not for Arin, who successfully transferred Spinjitzu into the returning blade. When he gives Raz the elixir, and they begin talking about their masters, Moro states Master Wu must be alive, since if he wasn't, he would have come through the Spectral Lands. The beasts roar in distance and Arin leaves. Meanwhile, the Forbidden Five reach Dragonian's village in the First Land and uncover Thunderfang's prison. He tells them to find 5 prismatic blades and set him free in exchange for more of his power. He also gives them a special gem that corrupts the Dragonians, giving them the ability to find the blades and empowers the Forbidden Five. Zane and Zant explore another part of the First Land when they notice another monastery. He enters the monastery and finds a portal gate. Suddenly, it activates and freebooters led by Rapton emerge from it carrying a techno cocoon. Zane tries to stop them, but they flee in a train. Luckily, Zant grabs Zane and they catch up with freebooters. Zane jumps on the train and goes inside where he finds the techno cocoon. He opens the capsule and inside he finds Pixel. In the crossroads, our mysterious bounty hunter meets a Fedulian and exchanges the Oni chalice for a bag of money. Fedulian also passes him a message from someone who wants to contract his services. Not sure who it is. Back in the First Land, Zane reunites with Pixel and briefly explains what happened since the merge. Then, freebooters come in and the fight begins. Zane and Pixel manage to defeat a few of them before escaping. Just as they are about to jump off the train, Noct and the Dragonians appear looking for the prismatic blade. Zane grabs the blade and battles Noct, but the Dragonian knocks the blade out of Zane's hand. Pixel catches it and escapes on the roof. Noct knocks her aside using Shatter Spin, grabs the blade and orders the Dragonian to sabotage the train, sending it spinning out of control. While Noct escapes, Zane tries to override the controls, plugs himself into the system and stops the train just in time, severely damaging himself. Meanwhile, Rox attacks the floating village where she finds the blade inside of a giant tooth. The same tooth that Ninja knocked out of a giant crab in Season 1. In Thunderfang's prison, Noct and Rox each cut one of his chains while Kor attacks the City of Temples looking for a blade. She takes the sword Zayatrix had injured Lloyd with in the Source tournament and decays Robbie and Hermes, a small spirit dragon. Meanwhile, Raz leads Arin through a desert to a place where he had hidden a jet. Meanwhile, Pixel tries to fix Zane and orders Rapton to bring her all the components needed. In the First Realm, Lloyd, Sora, Frak and Ryu follow Arin's trail when they arrive at the edge of the Spectral Lands. Ryu senses something and wants the team to go the opposite direction that Arin went. Suddenly, the sky goes dark and Zark with Dragonians appears. They quickly hide in some bush and learn what Zark is looking for, the prismatic blade. Dragonians find them and they start to fight. Lloyd fights Zark, who is just some sort of a joke in this episode, as he gets humiliated by Lloyd. Then Pixel and Zane arrive and we see a new upgraded Zane who looks like a fridge with arms. Pixel kicks Zark's butt and he decides to cowardly retreat, while Ninja wonder why the Forbidden Five are gathering those blades. Meanwhile, Wildfire gets a message from Robbie who was hurt. They immediately rush to the City of Temples and ask Robbie what happened. He explains Kor used her elemental power of decay on him and Hermes and stole the prismatic blade. He gives them a book where there should be some information about the prismatic blades. Raz and Arin fly over the floating village from Season 1, where smoke is rising from several buildings, and when Arin starts flying towards it, Raz tells him to stay focused on the task. He turns the jet around and flies over the village. Later, they arrive on a stone island. When Arin asks Raz if they're here, The latter points to a hill. Arin jumps out of the jet and runs the direction Russ pointed. He climbs over the hill, only to see a graveyard. He begins to panic, looking for his parents' graves, and he finds them. Russ states that the cause of their deaths was the merge, and adds that he can bring them back by reversing the merge. Somewhere at the crossroads, Rogue meets Zeatrix, who wants him to bring Russ to her for a lot of money. Meanwhile, at Ninjago, people are lining up for wishes from Arakor. Every time he makes a wish, Ninjago grows bigger. Darret makes his comeback here, but only for a quick conversation with Arakor when suddenly the sky goes dark and rocks with Dragonians appears. Back at the tournament Temple City, Nia finds information about the prismatic blades and what they can be used for. Rox wants Arakor to repair the blade Kur brought back from the City of Temples earlier. When he refuses, Rox shows him a pyramid-shaped artifact capable of making someone her servant. Arakor tricks her and she wishes for the ninja to be here. Nia, Sora and Ryu, as they're the only ninja Arakor had met, randomly disappear from their teams and appear in Ninjago. Meanwhile, Russ tells Arin that in order to undo the merge, they will have to collect the icons of all 7 Source Dragons. He adds that his hammer is an icon of the Source Dragon of Strength. Arin, desperate to bring his parents back, agrees to help Russ find a way to obtain all 7 icons. Back at Ninjago, Rox imprisons Arakor in her artifact and repairs the blade. When all seems lost, Sora notices the artifact is made from tech and destroys it using her powers, freeing Arakor. Rox escapes with the blade as Arakor sends the ninja back to their friends. Nia explains to Kai and Sora to her team what happened and what the Forbidden Five need the blades for. They also wonder where the last blade could be. Meanwhile, Russ asks Arin how he and the ninja learned about the Source Dragon energy in the Dragon Course. Arin tells him about the Temple of the Dragon Course in the World Forest, and Russ wants to get there. They set off, unaware of Rogue spying on them. Back in Thunderfang's prison, Rox cuts another one of his chains with the repaired prismatic blade. Meanwhile, Lloyd's team goes through the gate in the Monastery of the First Land, and Pixel reunites with Kai and Nia at the Monastery of Spinjitzu. As Russ and Arin approach World Forest, Rogue attacks them in the air, and there is a pretty cool fight scene between them. Rogue kicks Russ into the control panel, and the jet starts falling towards the ground. Russ hits a button that ejects his seat and starts falling with a parachute. Rogue blasts at Russ again, but the latter manages to knock him away using his hammer. 2 mountain dragons save Arin from crashing into a tree, and another one helps him find Russ. When they try to get rid of the dragon, it insists on taking them to the Temple of the Dragon Course. When they fly towards it, 2 dragons pass by and recognize Russ as someone who's been hunting dragons for Imperium. Meanwhile, Zane and Pixel create a device that can find the location of the last prismatic blade. In the temple, Russ breaks off the head of the statue. The spirit emerges from the altar, and Russ asks him if there are any ways of creating a dragon icon without gathering elemental powers. When Spirit refuses to answer, Russ hits him with his hammer, clearly hurting him. He tells them about the Casket of Bones and Forge of the Forgotten in the Underworld. They leave the temple only to see dragons blocking their way out. Russ prepares to fight them, but Arin activates a glider he stole from Rogue and starts flying away with Russ. They escape and land on a tree branch where out of nowhere ninja appear. Back at the City of Temples, Wildfire looks for Janus melons to make a stew out of them, believing it might help Robbie heal. Unfortunately, it doesn't. We get flashbacks from Sora's childhood after she escaped from Imperium. She stole a fruit from a stand and some people started chasing her. While running, she bumped into Arin holding pies. He helped her escape by hiding her behind the pies and they became friends. In the present, Arin admits that he is with Russ by his own choice and that Russ is his new teacher. He also shows Ninja the prismatic blade when asked about it. Frag tries to fight Russ, but Arin knocks him off using Spinjitzu. In the past, Sora had just finished building a new oven. When she turns it on, it starts shaking and suddenly explodes. Arin says it was all a mistake and Sora runs away. Arin runs after her and sees her being kidnapped by a truck. He gets her out of the truck and using the grappling hook, they escape. In the present, Rogue swoops down using his glider and catches Russ flying away with him. Arin, Sora, Zane and Ryu follow them when suddenly the sky flashes red and Drix appears. He kicks the ninjas' butts without even trying and grabs their prismatic blade. Meanwhile, Arin rescues Russ and fights Rogue. The latter cuts the branch beneath Arin and he starts falling. Sora pulls out the grappling hook and saves him using it. There's this very emotional reunion scene in which Arin tells Sora about his parents' death. Ras watches this from a branch above when suddenly Drix ambushes him and knocks him out. He grabs the blade and flies away with unconscious Ras and his hammer. Arin tells the rest of the ninja about his parents' death and asks if he can join them. They all agree and come up with an idea to get to the first land before Drix. They head to the monastery of Spinjitzu where Sora creates gliders for everyone and Zane activates the gate to the first land. Arin and Sora both apologize to each other and Sora explains to him that his real strength doesn't come from rage or hate, but from his kindness, generosity and hope. Then the group sets off to stop the Forbidden Five. Meanwhile, at the city of Temples, Wildfire sees a small dragon use some sort of power to heal Hermes. She decides to do the same with her power and Robbie. Somehow this works and Robbie is back to normal and Wildfire leaves him and heads to the first land to help the ninja. In the first land, the ninja arrive and see a huge storm tornado. Then Drix appears and they fight him again. This time he is outnumbered and sends a bug to Rox to inform her about the situation. The rest of the Forbidden Five and the Dragonians join the fight. When Drix escorts Ras to Noct, Noct frees him and gives him his hammer, not accepting to fight a weakened opponent. They battle with Noct quickly getting the upper hand and knocks Ras to the ground. Meanwhile, Arin manages to get hold of both prismatic blades and Lloyd tells him to get back to the monastery with them. Arin turns and starts flying towards it, but then he sees Ras lying on the ground and knocked over him. He immediately turns the drone towards Noct and helps Ras. Suddenly, Rox knocks him from behind and takes both prismatic blades. While ninjas struggle with the storm, the Forbidden Five goes to the Thunderfang's prison and cuts the two last chains. Thunderfang betrays the Forbidden Five, who could have fought, and absorbs their souls. Wildfire arrives at the first land and helps Ninja escape the storm tornado. Then Thunderfang appears and they try to defeat him using Spinjitzu vehicles and even Rising Dragon technique to no avail. Thunderfang senses the power of a Source Dragon conduit, Lloyd, and absorbs his soul while Nia saves Rogue from some Dragonians. Then Rogue shoots lightning at Dragonians, revealing his identity as Jay. For another time, who could have fought? Arin, looking through a prismatic blade, notices souls everywhere around Thunderfang. He comes up with an idea to throw the bottle he brought back from the spectral lance at Thunderfang. He transfers Spinjitzu into the bottle, focuses on his friends and family, and throws the bottle straight at Thunderfang. It shatters on impact, turns Thunderfang into dust, and frees all the souls absorbed by the dragon except for the Forbidden Five ones. As Ras and Arin are about to leave, Sora decides to go with them, not wanting to be separated from Arin ever again. Ninja find injured Jay under a rock and take him to the monastery where he claims Arin's parents are still alive, but are in a weird place, the land of Lee. At the Spectral Lands, Moro meets Thunderfang, who reaps the souls of 3 soul suckers and then absorbs Moro's soul. Gandalaria visits Abracalabria, a village in Mysterium for wizards where she seeks to repair her crystal ball. As the night falls, Spectral Kur appears playing on a flute which summons fog and causes some of the villagers to levitate. Meanwhile, Arin tells Sora his story, and Sora questions Ras' ability to bring back Arin's parents. Suddenly, Ras appears and tells them he knows where to go next, to Abracalabria. Sora grows suspicious of his sudden knowledge, but Ras silences the doubts and they head off. Elsewhere, the ninja fly on temple bounty, Robbie's gift to Wildfire for saving his life, to the Dragon Master's training plateau, where Rontu reveals Egalt is dying of wasting sickness. They share his final moments as he thanks Rontu and the ninja. As they leave, Ryo invites Rontu to go with them, but she chooses to stay. At the monastery, Zane and Pixel depart to explore the merged realms, while Nia and Lloyd ask Jay to take them to the land of the Lee to find Arin and Sora. They finally convince Jay by promising to pay him money and help him locate Wrath, although Jay only agrees to go with 3 of them. Finally, Ras, Arin and Sora reach Abracalabria, where Ras demands an audience with some wizard who knows where the entrance to the underworld is. Denied, he defeats the guards and enters, finding villagers staggering like zombies, including the wizard he seeks. Gandalaria explains invisible creatures attacked at dusk, stealing souls but vanished by sunrise, just as night falls again and Kerr returns playing her flute. In Abracalabria, Arin discovers that he can see spectral dragonians attacking through his returning blade. He tries to fight them, but the blade shatters. Sora and Gandalaria create a lamp that reveals spectral dragonians using a lantern and the broken blade. When Ras mentions Underworld, Gandalaria reveals she has a map in her monastery leading there. Meanwhile, aboard the Temple Bounty, Jay explains to Lloyd, Nia and Wildfire that to get to the real land of Lee, they have to get there through the Department of the Realm Reassignment at Administration. They arrive at Administration, and when they get inside, they get imprisoned almost immediately, with Jay stating it was a part of his plan. They escape and get to the Department of Realm Reassignment, where they teleport to the land of Lee. Right after they leave, the same fog Arin and Sora encountered appears at Administration. In Abracalabria, a spectral Dragonian rips Gandelaria's soul, what makes Raz, Arin and Sora head to her monastery, where they find a map to the underworld. As they leave the monastery, they notice Raz floating in the air and wonder what he is doing. Inside the monastery, a yellow orb appears next to Gandalaria. Okay, this one is weird, so let's just get through it very quickly. Lloyd, Nia, Jay and Wildfire go undercover in the land of Lee, an underground community ruled by the strange and self-proclaimed perfect leader Lee, who has filled his realm with duplicates of himself. He has an ability to clone himself. And people sent here by Administration. He tells these people that the merge destroyed everything and the land of Lee is the only safe place left. While Ninja look for Arin's parents, Lloyd and Wildfire get caught by Lee on plotting against him. Meanwhile, Ronto tries to teach Ryu the art of spinjitzu at Krill's junkyard. At the Administration, Drix appears with a flute, stealing many souls before returning to the Spectral Lands, where he places them into the Well of the Lost. The vessel begins to fill, revealing Source Dragon symbols etched on ancient stone plates. Meanwhile, Raz, Arin and Sora enter the underworld after defeating a giant skeleton. At the Forge of the Forgotten, Raz attempts to sacrifice Sora to forge a dragon icon, but Arin doesn't let him. A fight breaks out, and though Raz is pushed back, Arin and Sora barely escape the underworld. Back in the land of Lee, Jay and Nia uncover that Lee has imprisoned their friends. Following him to a graveyard, they discover gravestones bearing the names of Arin's parents, the same site Raz once took Arin to. As Lee confronts them, a battle begins, but in the chaos, a couple recognizes the ninja and reveals themselves as Arin's parents. While trapped in Lee's prison, Lloyd has a vision of the Source Dragons. He secretly listens to their discussion about Thunderfang still being a danger and whether they should bring back the Archdragon of Focus to stop him. But without the Source Dragon of Balance, who used to decide on arguments, the dragons can't agree on what to do. Elsewhere, in the land of the Lost Things, Kai and Cole train Frag when he senses the earth screaming. Cole admits he feels it too, recalling when he once followed Master Wu's ghost and found its source far away deep underground. This time, the ninja prepare to reach it with a new vehicle built by Gio. Cole, Kai and Frag follow the sound of the screaming earth into its source, where they uncover the skeleton of a source dragon deep underground. Suddenly, the skeleton vanishes and the ghost of Master Wu appears, telling them what can be lost can be found. Meanwhile, in the land of Lee, Jay and Nia tell Arin's parents that their son is still alive before trying to break into the prison to free Lloyd and Wildfire. However, Lloyd and Wildfire escape their cage on their own and reunite with the others, but Lee blocks their path, forcing a fight. Arin and Sora visit the graveyard where Arin, believing his parents are gone, prepares to say goodbye at their graves. But he notices Lee going underground and they follow. Arin joins the battle while Sora speaks with Lee, who admits he created the land of Lee and its lies out of loneliness. After the merge, he finally met people, but when they left, he tried to trap them in his false paradise. Sora tells him that true friendship can't be built on lies and assures him that Sam would stay if he was honest. Moved by her words, Lee stops fighting just as the ninja are about to lose. Arin finally reunites with his parents, but then an administration portal opens and a mysterious fog begins pouring out. In the underworld, Lord Raz forges a new Source Dragon icon, only to be attacked by Skullkin, furious that he is misusing the Forge of the Forgotten. Meanwhile, the ninja battle the Spectral Dragonians, but when all souls of Lee citizens get ripped, they retreat and escape on the Temple Bounty. Aboard, Arin notes the Dragonians look just like the soul suckers from the Spectral Lands, so they set course there. They arrive to see Spectral Thunderfang and the Forbidden Five, who look as if their own souls have been stolen, playing spectral flutes to fill up the Well of the Lost with the souls. When the Dragonians notice them, the ninja flee and follow a glowing yellow orb that takes them to the monastery of the Spectral Lands. Remembering that Thunderfang was once defeated in the City of Temples, and that Robbie had a book explaining how, ninja go there only to find the City of Temples empty. To their horror, they find Robbie's soul has been ripped. At the same time, Cole, Kai and Frog reach the land of the Lost Things, but arrive too late as Noct and the Dragonians steal the souls of the Finders. Geo is the only one left untouched, and he takes Finders to the monastery of Spinjitzu, while Kai, Cole and Frog go after Noct. In the past, Cole promised the Finders he would always keep them safe. In the present, he feels guilty for failing them as he, Kai and Frog pursue Noct to the Imperium. In the City of Temples, Ninja go to dungeons to ask Blake how Thunderfang was once defeated. They release him and he shows a chamber full of prismatic steel. He also tells them about the Archdragon of Focus, the immortal avatar of the Source Dragon of Focus. Normally, only the Source Dragon Council can summon it, but Blake shows them the Unbidden Storm, a stone that can do it if both halves of the dragon resting in two different caves are awakened. One half rests in Mysterium's Cave of Bells and the other in Ninjago. To awaken them, they have to sing a particular spell song. Blake warns them that summoning the Archdragon as mortals has never been done before and could bring disastrous consequences. In Imperium, Cole lets his emotions take over and mindlessly attacks Noct, while Kai and Frog wait for Percival to upgrade their blades. As they leave the lab, they see Cole's soul getting ripped by two Dragonians. Furious, Kai smashes Noct's spectral flute, releasing some souls before Noct makes his getaway. Back in the Spectral Lands, Noct and Rox release souls into the Well of the Lost, sending a burst of golden energy into the sky as Thunderfang declares he is nearly a Source Dragon. Back at the City of Temples, Ninja split up. Lloyd and Darin take the Unbidden Storm to the Spectral Lands, Sora and Wildfire head to Ninjago, and Nia of Jay to Mysterium. But Jay refuses to help, saying he still hasn't been paid, and he risks his life more than once and leaves the team. As all ninja leave the monastery, Lord Raz emerges from behind a pillar in a skeleton armor. Sora and Wildfire return to the monastery of Spinjitzu, where they meet Kai, Frog and Soulless Cole. Meanwhile, Arin confides in Lloyd, saying that once Thunderfang is defeated, he quits being a ninja. In Mysterium, Nia encounters a backup copy of Gandalaria inside a coconut, who guides her through the realm to the Cave of Tones, where they meet Power Lead. Zan takes Sora, Wildfire, Frog and Dryo to Ninjago. As they approach, she suddenly transforms, and we later learn it's because of Ninjago's energy. When they arrive, they see how much Ninjago has changed. The city has grown enormous, lifted onto the water by Arakor. As Arakor appears and welcomes the ninja, Rapton and the freebooters prepare to descend from the skies to loot the realm. Back at the Spectral Lands, Thunderfang slowly transforms into a Source Dragon using the soul energy he had gathered. Suddenly, he senses ninja are trying to wake the Archdragon of Focus. At the monastery of Spinjitzu, Raz steps through the portal gate and orders everyone to surrender, knowing the ninja are scattered across the merged realms. But before he can take control, Mr. Froggy throws a ball of stinking goo into his face. At Ninjago, Arakor tells the ninja about the cave's location, but he claims that the dragon isn't here. Sora wishes for the dragon half to appear, and Arakor with Zan go to the cave and try to grant her wish, while Ninja fight freebooters who, after stealing a few things, retreat. Ninja go to the cave and find half of the Archdragon asleep. They try to ring the bells in the correct order to awaken it. Back at the monastery, Geo and Mr. Froggy stand against Raz, but are quickly overpowered. Rontu comes to help, but with Raz in possession of two Source Dragon icons, he defeats her. Then we find out what Raz seeks in the monastery. He wants something from Master Wu's study. Meanwhile, Nia tries to explain to Power that she's saving the world, but she fails to do so. Suddenly, Kai appears out of nowhere and helps her get through the Cyclops. In the cave, they discover the bells have been changed into doves, but they somehow make the birds sing the song by giving them snacks and wake the purple half of the dragon. Then, the dragon starts to glow and suddenly disappears. At the Spectral Lands, Lloyd and Darin fight Noct, Rox and Drix when Lloyd comes up with a plan to get to the well. They destroy the ground underneath them and fall into a cave under the Well of the Lost. However, they find the Unbidden Storm under some rocks, broken. Back at Ninjago, Wildfire rings the bells in the correct order, and the tan half of the dragon awakens and also disappears. At the Spectral Lands, Lloyd and Darin wonder how to fix the Unbidden Storm, while Thunderfang grows stronger with every second. Meanwhile, Zard and Kor fly to the Caves of Bells, where they want to break the crystals that are connected to the Archdragon. Kai and Nia prevent Zard from destroying them, but when he uses Shatter Spin, he knocks them both down, almost killing Nia. Luckily, Jay appears out of nowhere and knocks him out just in time. He confesses to Nia that when around her, he doesn't want to be a terrible person. In the other cave, core takes down Frog, Sora and Wildfire, but when he's about to shatter the crystals, Ryu takes him down using Spinjitzu for the first time. Back at the Spectral Lands, Arin transfers Spinjitzu into the Unbidden Storm, successfully activating it. They summon the Archdragon of Focus and discover it's under their control. At first they can synchronize and Thunderfang gains the upper hand, but when Arin takes the lead and Lloyd adjusts, the roles are reversed. They use the powers of the Archdragon and turn Thunderfang into dust, this time for real. At least I think so. All souls gathered by the Thunderfang return to their bodies like nothing ever happened. The Archdragon warns Lloyd and Arin about the consequences they may encounter and disappears. After the battle, Arin decides to remain a ninja, but says he needs a vacation with his parents first. Suddenly, all ninja except Arin experience some weird kind of pain caused by unstable connection to elemental powers. At the Source Dragon Council, it's revealed that the Source Dragons of Life, Strength and Focus have withdrawn from it, disrupting balance. The remaining council explains that this imbalance will throw every elemental master's powers into chaos, and that, by withdrawing, the dragons have broken their sacred word to the first Spinjitzu master. They add that this can mean not only the end of this cycle, but the end of all cycles. Meanwhile, the ninja attempt to use the portal gates to return to the monastery of Spinjitzu, but instead the gates move them to wild and unknown locations. Back in the City of Temples, Ras stands in the Monastery of Monasteries. Speaking to Master Wu's ghost, imprisoned in the same cage once used for Bonzel, he declares that now, with the ninja scattered across the farthest reaches of the merged lands, nothing will stand in his way. And that's the whole story of Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel, as that really helps. Also, if you have any opinions or thoughts about this season, feel free to share them in the comments below. That also helps me very much. And what, I just can't wait to see Season 4. I'm really hyped up after Season 3 ending. Expect me to make a special video about Season 3 ending, because that's a very nice one. I really want to talk about like Lord Ras and this stuff. And what, I have nothing more to say. Thank you all guys for being here, and see you in the next one.